Today we're taking a look at these NCAAF matches, which are happening on Friday, November 26, 2021, and giving you match breakdowns, betting tips and predictions in general on these games. Welcome back to High Stakes, let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos, and if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. 5 plans are available for each and every one of you. You can get 30 extra betting picks all the way up to 270 extra betting picks per month. Stop wasting hours of your time searching for bad betting advice that ends up costing you a lot of money. Join the High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks and advice. Ohio U versus Bowling Green. In the team's 35-25 loss to Toledo, the defense was exposed on the ground, giving up 251 yards rushing. Toledo scored 4 touchdowns on running plays. On offense, the Bobcats threw for 253 yards and rushed for 192. Penalties were a big problem all game long as they racked up 95 yards on 10 penalties. In the team's loss to Miami, the defense gave up 227 yards through the air. Although the overall yardage was not significant, Miami only needed 10 completions to generate this output. On offense, Bowling Green struggled to move the ball in passing situations, completing just 13 of their 30 pass attempts for 108 yards. Our first betting advice is to pick Ohio Bobcats minus 5.5 on the season. The Falcons are 87th in passing offense as they average 211.2 yards per game through the air, while they are tied for 120th in rushing offense with an average of 103.1 yards per contest. Bowling Green is a miserable 108th in the FBS in scoring offense with 21.5 points per game, while they are 107th in scoring defense by allowing 32.5 points per contest. Matt McDonald has completed 212 of 356 passes for 2,300 yards with 11 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. Tucker Melton is 2 of 10 passing for 23 yards with an interception on the books. The run game has been abysmal with Nick Mosley ranking second on the team with 62 carries for 301 yards plus 2 scores. Jason Patterson, 65 carries, 271 yards, 2 TD, Terrion Stewart, 61 carries, team high 395 yards, 5 TD, and Jalen Embry, 17 carries, 52 yards, have also seen action. In the passing game, Austin Osborne leads the team with 56 receptions for 467 yards plus a score this season. Tight end Christian Sims, 37 catches, 388 yards, 2 TD, Tyrone Broden, 36 grabs, 596 yards, 5 TD, and Taryn Keith, 23 catches, 221 yards, TD, have all cracked the 150-yard mark in receiving yards on the year. Nate Needham has hit 25 of 26 extra point attempts and 15 of 15 field goal attempts with a long of 52 this season. Our second betting advice is to pick over 49. Eastern Michigan versus Central Michigan. The Eastern Michigan Eagles entered this game in solid form as they have won 3 of their last 4 games, including a 1-point home victory against the Western Michigan Broncos in their last game. In that game, Eastern Michigan's defense was great as it only allowed 21 points, while forcing the opposition into committing 2 turnovers. However, that stellar defensive performance was a bit surprising since the Eagles are allowing 27.5 points per game. Now, Eastern Michigan will be looking to continue its winning ways with a conference road game up next. Our first betting advice is to pick Eastern Michigan Eagles plus 9. The Chippewas are second in the MAC, averaging 459.7 total yards per game, first with 282.8 passing yards per game, and 7th averaging 176.9 rushing yards per game. On defense, the Chips are 5th in the conference, allowing 409.9 yards allowed per game. The strength has been the rushing defense that is 3rd in the conference, allowing 143.4 rushing yards per game and 11th, giving up 266.5 passing yards per game. The Eastern Michigan Eagles have won 3 of their last 4 games. Last Tuesday, Eastern Michigan beat Western Michigan 22-21, led by field goal kicker Chad Ryland, who went 5/5 on field goals with a long of 31 yards. Quarterback Ben Bryant completed 13 of 23 passes for 156 yards touchdowns, and running back Samson Evans threw 1 pass, 19 yards for a touchdown. The Eagles had a big rushing game, racking up 247 yards on 43 attempts, led by senior John Hamilton with 179 yards on 19 attempts. Our second betting advice is to pick over 64. Quick reminder, BetUS is a platform that offers betting on all major sport and horse racing leagues. It has slots, table games, blackjack, and a variety of other casino games. All of the major US leagues are available for betting, including the NFL, NBA, NHL, MLB, and PGA. In addition, BetUS allows wagers on esports, Olympic events, soccer, cricket, boxing, cycling, and many more competitions. Join BetUS now using our link down below and get 125% cashback bonus on your first deposit on the sportsbook after you open an account and deposit using our link and use our promo code HIGHSTAKES. Boise State vs San Diego State. The Boise State Broncos have been a great defensive team thus far as they are giving up 18.3 points per game. In their previous game against the New Mexico Lobos, they did not allow any points on 101 total yards of offense, 18 passing, 83 rushing. The Broncos defended the run as well as they could as they gave up 2 yards per rush. They also did an outstanding job on the money downs, as New Mexico went 3 of 14 on third down and did not attempt any fourth down tries. If they can play this well defensively, it will do wonders for the Broncos. Our first betting advice is to pick Boise State minus 2.5. If San Diego State loses this game, it would be bumped out of first place in the West Division with a Fresno State win on Thursday. The Bulldogs are 7.5-point favorites in that game. San Diego State will know what it needs to accomplish by the time this game kicks off. The Aztecs have relied on their defense throughout the season, as their offense ranks number 114 in yards per game, 325.4. Senior quarterback Lucas Johnson has completed 62.9% of his passes for 993 yards and 9 touchdowns. The star of the offense has been running back Greg Bell, who is averaging 4.7 yards per carry on 194 attempts. He can go over 1,000 yards on the season with 93+ in this game. The Aztecs are facing a Boise State defense that is number 50, allowing 360.5 yards per game. Our second betting advice is to pick under 44.5 Kansas State vs Texas. Kansas State is 27th in the nation in points allowed, with an average of 21.0 per game. The Wildcats allow an average of 118.8 yards rushing and 226.2 yards passing, for a total of 345.0 yards per game. Opposing teams average 3.5 yards per carry and 5.3 yards per play against K-State's defense. Linebacker Daniel Green has a team-best 72 tackles, while defensive end Felix Anudikuzama is the leader in quarterback sacks with 11. Defensive back Russ Yeast has 3 interceptions to lead the Wildcats. Our first betting advice is to pick Kansas State +3. Starting quarterback Casey Thompson completed just 4 of 14 pass attempts against West Virginia before leaving with a thumb injury. Head coach Steve Sarkisian said Thompson is day-to-day for this game. Freshman quarterback Hudson Card is the backup, but Sarkisian said Card is also day-to-day with an undisclosed injury. The Longhorns are already without star running back Bijan Robinson, who has been out since the Kansas game with an elbow injury. Wide receiver Xavier Worthy has caught a team-high 56 passes for 916 yards and 12 touchdowns. They are going up against a Kansas State defense that is number 37, allowing 344.7 yards per game. The 6-year senior seems more unlikely than likely at this point, which means sophomore Will Howard would make the start. He has only thrown 42 passes this season, completing half of them for 267 yards. Sophomore Jaron Lewis would also be available if Thompson winds up on the sidelines. Kansas State's offense is ranked number 96, averaging 361.4 yards per game. Running back Deuce Vaughn has rushed for 1,115 yards and 14 touchdowns, notching 5.9 yards per carry. He will have an increased workload if Thompson is out. Vaughn is facing a Texas defense that is number 107, allowing 437.6 yards per game. Our second betting advice is to pick over 52.